Okay, so here's the old pinch roller, and I found an old part from a copier that I'm going to take this roller with. It looks like it'll slip right over. Almost the same thickness on the first cut, I can't believe it. But anyway, just a little bit of sanding down. Let's see, it's pretty close. It's just the diameter. We have to make sure it can fit, you know, with the shaft on. Is it going to go all the way on here? And I think, yeah, it's going to be just a little bit of sanding down. But anyway, I think that will work. If I saw some of the videos on YouTube, this part of the metal should be down. The tire should be inside that, so this is sticking out just a little, but maybe that's also because they're worn. So I'm gonna just cut it down to where it doesn't rub. You know, it has a little bit of room there, but these are sensitive parts, and they work together with each other. The only manual you can find on these are in German, so you have to kind of write it down and then type it and have it translated so you understand what they're talking about. But anyway, this is another part. You can see it's slightly bent. This piece up here on the top right here should be perfectly straight, and at 5 millimeters, 5 millimeters up here, and like 4.4 millimeters between this point, with this being bent. Or no, this is just the opposite. This should be perfectly straight. This is the one that needs to be bent, because this ride's a little detent on the inside. So you have to be gentle with these two. They're 45 years old or so, and that piece right there can come detached. It's fragile, let's just say. This is one I actually think I broke, and I had to repair it with some rubber cement as the glue I used, and it seems to be holding it pretty well. Anyway, so let's get see if I can get this on this old shaft here. I have to cut that off. Anyway, let me finish getting this off and clean it up, and we'll get back to you in a sec. On this new roller here now, I'll just press fit it in there. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see what it looks like. So let me do that. That's how I use it. I just turn on the drill, not too fast, and just really slowly just shave off. I'm going to shave off and just lower the blade into it, going clockwise so it's going away from me. That way it doesn't kick back. A couple millimeters or so rubber off of the new roller. It's getting close. If we stick it inside the piece, I remember that's just like butted right up against the top there. Back though is getting really close, so we need to take more off the front side, just a little bit, and then I'd say about another millimeter, because we want a little bit of room all the way around for expansion. You know, when it gets hotter, that little bushing inside will expand. Also, when you clean the roller off, that makes it expand too. So we just, I think, want to have enough clearance. I'd say a millimeter or so is safe. And then, of course, enough to be able to touch the pinch roller. That's the most, I mean, the cap stand is enough to make it touch the cap stand. That's the most important part. Okay, so the back side's getting closer. It's not quite in the center, but remember that's just like butted right up against the top there. Back though is getting really close, so we need to take more off the front side, just a little bit, and then I'd say about another millimeter, because we want a little bit of room all the way around for expansion. You know, when it gets hotter, that little bushing inside will expand. Also, when you clean the roller off, that makes it expand too. So okay, so I thought I'd put it on. We're getting close now. You can see he's able to put it onto the shaft, but we still got a ways to go because I cannot turn the roller at all. So about another millimeter. Now is when we got to start slowing down. Take, you know, just a few seconds. Buff it up. Maybe I'll start using the 1200 from now on. Give it a nice finished surface, almost like brand new. Should feel that it's nice and cushiony. I can put my fingernail in it. It's going to be like brand new. I'm thinking about putting these on the market for those that might. It's a lot of time though, maybe $100 a pair. These things are really sensitive, these pieces that go on them. I don't know how to refabricate one of those, so I already messed one up. They're really sensitive, so this one has been repaired with a little bit of rubber adhesive on both sides. I think it's holding it fairly well. So anyway, I'm going to take this back off, put it back onto the drill with a 1200 grit this time, just for like 30 seconds or so, because we're getting them. We'll try it again and see if I can turn the tire. Once we do that, we're getting real close. So okay, that's coming close. This is worth the time because I think it's going to fix this unit. Okay, so I got my first pinch roller finished. It's, I would say, as close as it's going to get. It turns in both directions without binding. It still makes that little thing move. I think that's important. Need to get this down in there. It has to be hardly like just a hair of clearance. 0.02 millimeters. So I'll have to get my feeler gauge out, get that the proper tension. Don't want that flopping around at all, but then again, you don't want it to bind up. So let's see if we can get that in with my fingernail. Walk it back and forth. Oh. All right, so yeah, it's getting close. It's fresh rubber, so it looks pretty good. All right, we'll move on to the next one now. And it took me a good hour to get that shaped to fit perfectly. So it's something that you can't, if you don't have much patience, and that rubber renew, it swelled up really bad, so I sanded it down, and now it's shrunk, so it's no longer big enough. So it's going away. I have this roller here that I've cut best I could. We'll sand it down to be perfect, get rid of those imperfections. Okay, after about an hour of sanding and measuring and fitting, and I think I've got it down pretty good. Let's give this a little clean here. Okay, so I give it a little cleaning. Still looks dirty. I'll give it another. Okay, so it's going to be ready to go in. I know it looks kind of fuzzy. It's been... Okay, so we have them both in. They both turn freely. And you got the... Okay, so I think that was a success. I should hook it up to my oscilloscope. Make sure that the speeds are correct. This is really a fancy DAC for 1980. It was actually December 79, which would be the 1980 model. But circuit boards with all pinpoint, point-to-point wiring. I just changed the 3 belts. Oops, this one here's not on there right. Get that on there. And it should work fine. So let's give it a final test before I button it up. Everything lights up, works fine. Let's get something else. This. Play. Awesome. I have to play it for a while. Might have to sand that pinch roller a little bit more. I don't know. Or I have to check the gap. It's too tired. Maybe it's binding up. But look at that. A couple hours. Now you got another $600 deck. This isn't because this is, I think, kind of used to use the studio. Sounds really good though compared to my other ones. Happy. Anyway, button it up. Okay, so it seems to be working fairly well. Fast forward, rewind, timer. Resets. Dab of oil on that. It's kind of needs to be moving. Hanging up on this. But look at that. Could be because when you tighten that ground wire down onto that unit, kind of puts it out of whack, I think. Let's see if it rewinds and stops. Actually, I'm fast forwarding. Should automatically see. Close to the end and we're going to see. And the signs and the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls and whispered in the sound of silence. You know what I haven't done yet is demagnetize the heads and the capstan guides, so I'm going to do that because it sounds a little bit wah, a little noisy, kind of not straight, Switches, goes to the next side.
Ladies and gentlemen, Simon and Garfunkel. We'd like to help you learn to help yourself. Look around, you always see us.
All going through my Pioneer SX 9000 I picked up over on the marina. Guy was living on a boat, picked it up for $179, and it is almost in mint condition. Cleaned all the pots, kind of cleaned it really well. I had it serviced to have the capacitors replaced on it, so it should last another 45 years. Oh, that pauses. Also has a niche feature called the fade edit here, and this is done while you're playing the music back, so you can actually between songs fade in and fade out, which will go into erase all of the static in between the songs. Haven't really played around with it yet. Maybe I will in this one here. We'll clean some up and try it. So anyway, that's kind of a neat feature as well. And of course phones where you can control the